Thank you. Hello, everyone. Guys, thank you so much for coming, and congratulations on this show. It's so, I don't even want to say overwhelming, and the first thing I want to talk about, when I watched it many months ago, to prepare to talk to you about it a couple of months ago, what really struck me immediately was I knew I was sort of in good, optimistic hands simply by the title.
Yeah.
You sort of know that there is, a happy ending at the other side of the beginning of the show.
So we gotta work to get there.
You do have to get there. It's several hours, but I was very curious, kind of to start. What your first thoughts about the project when it came both of your ways. Was this something that you always were sort of interested in exploring a subject matter, and maybe were looking for the right story to do it?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly right. That's exactly right. I'm Jewish, and I grew up very just disturbed and intrigued by this period of history, and learned a lot about it. Always was talked about in our household. Like, the education was like always never stopped, and I found that really cool because we were such an open family, and so even at a young age, we were talking about very serious matters, but I appreciated that my mom talked to me like I was an adult, and didn't hide things from me and soften it because I was young. And so growing up, I've always felt like, because I'm an actress and I have that beautiful privilege of doing what I love to do, I would love to find a project that touched on this period of time that felt right. And I felt so lucky and so excited to be asked to be part of this. It was just like, it was a no-brainer when it came my way. I was really, really honored to be part of it.
Yeah. How about you, Logan? Was this something that were you nervous about taking on this project?
Yeah, I was definitely nervous. And to your point before you asked the questions about the title too, and the optimism there, what I thought was so beautiful about it was the fact that it's kind of, the lucky ones, we were the lucky ones, but you have the burden of there's almost like it's like an ironic,
double-edged sword, I would say, yeah.
Thing, to surviving that, that period of time and their experiences. But I thought that was so interesting when I first got the project, and I thought, read the book, and no, but to your question though, I was not interested in exploring this subject matter very much. And I'd been sent a good amount of material in the past that deals with with the Holocaust and this period of time in this history. Most of the movies and things that I've read, they feel exploitative, and I don't really like that. So this one came around, and it felt like the right story to tell, and I thought it was I was also just along with the story, just the creative team and Joey are people that I respect and want to work with, but I thought it was an interesting opportunity to tell the Jewish, at least for my character, the Jewish refugee story, which was what I grew up with my grandfather and my family. So it just seemed like it was the right time to explore this subject matter.
Absolutely. And it is based on a book by Georgia Hunter, right? And that it is about her family. Was that an immediate resource for both of you, reading that book and then getting to chat with her about her own, the memories she had of the people in her life, but also the stories that had been passed down to her?
Yeah, it was our Bible, really. Like, we just studied that so much, and also it was just an amazing resource to be able to talk to Georgia as much as we were able to talk to her, because she's just such a generous person with how just much she wanted to share with us and be part of what we were making, and I love her so much, and she was so helpful. And also it was really cool because I could reach out to her, and if she didn't know the answer, she would reach out to her family. Like, it was such an amazing direct line of communication. And even some stories that were funny that I wanted to know about Helena, because obviously this depiction is such a specific, dark, horrible period of time in these people's lives, and they are Holocaust survivors. That is who they are. But they are also people who experience joy in their life, happiness post-war, and happiness pre-war. And so I wanted to know more about who Helena was outside of just her period of time in the war too. And so like just being able to reach out to Georgia and having her family like send me funny stories about Helena, to give Helena, like, to make me really understand like her sense of humor, her sense of passion, her sense of joy, and how it makes it even more heartbreaking to know what a light she was in all this that she endured and the family that endured. And I really wanted to use what I learned about her brightness and her sense of humor and like weave that kind of person into her. You know, there are beautiful moments of levity in this show, and which is so amazing because they're real, and these people just found like tiny moments of like sisterly connection that they made them laugh in this atrocious period of time. Like, this is real life, you know, those things happen. People needed to crack a joke once in a while to like just get through the like moment, the second by second. And so I found it really helpful to learn about everything that these people went through and also who they were beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, was that, having that access to, also helpful to kind of shake off the heavy material that you're working with at work every day? I mean, I can only imagine being in that space can kind of wear you down. Was that something that kind of, even among the cast, like a way to kind of cope with the material that you were working with?
I mean, you mean just humor and
Yeah, I mean, or even just knowing about kind of, you know, the lighter, more the levity that came with these stories from her family, and kind of knowing, you know, the funny stories that they also passed down to one another.
Yeah, you know, there were. I mean, and back to your first question too, just about the project as well. Just that, you know, this is truth, and these are real people, and you know they're, you know, well, you know, rounded and have, you know, real lives and deal with the, you know, dealt with their situation in a really human way, which, you know, has all the feelings involved. And especially when you did like research and, you know, I mean, we all were like watching documentaries and things like that, and reading about survivors and how they coped with their situations. And yeah, humor was a big part of that. But I don't know, it's interesting in the process of like actually, you know, shooting the show, we were all pretty isolated in our own stories. So and in our, you know, there wasn't much crossover after episode 1. We were all on our like own journeys a bit. So
you and I lived.
Yeah, we lived close.
Our apartments were stacked up on each other, so it would be like, hey, could you? Yeah, really, can you come bring? Do you have any extra oranges? Which was really nice. I mean, it's like such a heavy show, and we were like, our characters are separated for so much of it, and so having that like connection with like one another and the whole cast, we all just became so close, which was very, very helpful, because we were also able to share not just the joy that we needed to share with each other when things got really hard. It was also really nice to share those hard things with each other and to like lean on each other in a way that was like judgment free and really it was really necessary and special.
Yeah, I was always really worried about her.
Yeah, you were always worried about me.
Yeah,
so sweet.
It's a tough
So
role.
sweet.
Her role was really hard to take on, and the things you had to, you know, your character had to experience, and your, you know, what you had to do on a given day. I'd always be like, "Are you all right? Is everything okay?" Because it's a really difficult thing, and she's a really great actor.
I was like, yes, I'm fine, God.
She's a great actor, and she takes the responsibility and care with her roles, and this one in particular, and it's taxing. But yeah, it's a very different journey than like what my guy was going through or something like that. It's like I didn't have to deal with some of the horrific, you know, situations that you had to.
But I think that the Addie's journey, that's like the hardest thing, is so like, it's like this feeling of helplessness that your character experienced is like, my God, what a pain in the chest, what a pain in your heart to feel like you have no communication, you have no idea what's going on, you just feel helpless and on the outs, and like Yeah, I mean, you had quite the journey yourself,
Yeah, I mean,
Logan.
you know, it was just different. Yeah, it was like a lot of isolation and hopelessness, and you know, the feeling of being a refugee and just wanting to be taken in by a country, and there's no countries that want you, and when you get, you know, to safety, like having to try to survive. It's a crazy experience, and it was, you know, it's a universal thing. I mean, it happens for a lot of people all over the world, different, you know, periods of time, periods of history. So it's, you know, it's just hard to imagine, but to be in that space is, yeah, it's pretty isolated and lonely.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of beautiful. I mean, maybe the irony here is that you're playing people who are separated, but at the end of the day, you all got to spend some time together and kind of process it in a way. That's really, I mean, maybe that's just the beauty of being, you know, castmates on a project like this.
Yeah, it was really nice to be able to, like, sometimes too, if I wasn't working and I would just pop over and watch Logan work on set. And I mean, it was just such a treat to be able to, because a lot of the time you don't get to do that because you're all like working separately at the same time. But like if I had some time off and he was on set, like it was just, I mean, you know, we're really, really close friends in real life. And like that is such a gift. And so when we would get to like show up for each other even when we weren't working was really nice and sweet.
Absolutely. Well, let's cut to our first clip that we're going to show. This is going to be one that focuses on Joey's character, Helena, right?